What is up, guys? Today, let's talk about the Canon EOS RP, or the EOSRP. The EOS, it's a Canon. It's a camera. Let's talk about it. I'm not sure if this thing's called the EOS or the EOS RP. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments which one it is, because I am not sure. So if you are watching this video, at some point you have probably done some research on cameras. I get asked all the time, Joshua, what camera do you shoot with? What do you use? What do you use to make your videos? And I've picked this thing up. I've had it for about 4 months now, I want to say. And this is my daily driver. I use this thing for 99% of my shoots. I get paid client work that I use with this thing, and it's been amazing. So this channel is not about technical stuff. I'm not going to go into a bunch of technical stuff. What matters to me is real world use. So let's check out some footage that I filmed with the Canon EOS RP. So let's go through the things about it that I love. I love the flip out screen. That's very important to me. I do a lot of vlogging. Generally we're a small crew, and so sometimes I'm setting up by myself and I can't see what's going on, so it's really important to me that I have that. Next thing I love about this camera is the ergonomics. It just feels good in my hand. That's very important. A lot of times people get wrapped up into specs, and we're not going to go into that too much, but they don't think about what does the camera feel like in your hand. And the more that you love the way something feels, the more you're going to pick it up. It's got a mic jack, it's got headphone jack, which is really important to me because we can monitor our audio. There's nothing worse than being on a shoot, getting home and notice that your audio is trashed. So this is very important. You can monitor your audio. I love the color science out of this thing. It's amazing. Canon has some of the best color science. This does not have C-Log. That's probably one of the biggest differences to me between this and the Canon EOS R, besides the price. And there's ways to get around that. You can film in a neutral profile, and if you want to know about all that stuff, let me know. We can make a complete video about that. So anyways, there was that. The price point was huge. This thing, the body was $9.99, and Canon glass, you can put your EF mounts with this adapter, which was $100 for the adapter. So I have $100 in that, and then $9.99 in the body. I picked up this lens, which is the 17-40. It's an L lens, great little lens. It's an f4, not the fastest and not the best in low light, but I picked this thing up. You can find it between $350 and $400. But so for about $1,500, you can get into a full frame system, and that was the other thing I loved about it. It's full frame. There's so many reasons to shoot full frame. But anyways, like I said, this isn't about all technical stuff. The things I don't like about it, really, I've put this thing through its paces, and there's not a lot. The autofocus is tack sharp. The eye autofocus is amazing. It's never let me down. It's one of those cameras you can just turn on, do your thing, and you know it's going to pick it up. So there's not a lot of gripes that I have. When this thing first came out, it caught a lot of flack, and I probably didn't find one YouTuber or one reviewer that really had a lot of good things to say about it. And it's probably because it didn't have 24 frames per second when it first came out. I don't know what you were thinking, Canon, but that's just really stupid. But thankfully, they did a firmware update, and this thing now shoots 24 frames per second. It only does 60 frames per second for slow motion. I was really used to shooting 120 with some of my other cameras and stuff, so that was a big deal to me. But it's not been an issue. It's really not been any of an issue like I thought. The more and more I use it, the more shoots I go on with. It's great. It does really good with photography. Matter of fact, this is kind of known as a photographer's camera first because it's kind of crippled with the video specs. But if you know what you're doing and you know how to shoot and get into manual mode, that's very important. You can push this thing and get a lot out of this. I've done a lot of paid client work with this camera, and I've not had one person complain. I primarily shoot in 1080p. You might be saying, why don't you use 4K? Because the 4K in this thing is no good. It's cropped. You lose dual picture autofocus in this thing, so the autofocus is trash. It's just not worth it. So if you're going to be, if 4K is your thing, this is not the camera for you. But you also can shoot in 1080p and upscale your footage into a 4K timeline. And if I just kind of went over your head, send me a message, leave me a comment, I will walk you through that process. But you can up-res your footage to 4K, and it helps with compression, and it's going to look a lot better. But I've had big gig paid client works. I've shot full-blown documentaries with this camera right here, this setup, and one other lens, and I've not had any complaints, zero. So pretty happy with this thing. I would tell you, if you're looking to get into doing this kind of stuff, I would look really hard at this camera and this setup. So just wanted to share those thoughts with you today. I hope you're doing good. A little bit different than what we usually do. So that's pretty much all I got. If you have any questions, let us know, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.